And let's talk about a story that's on everyone's lips. A planned meeting between Deputy President William Ruto and retired President Daniel Arap Moi aborted yesterday. Ruto was kept waiting for more than 2 hours as the retired president had a session with his doctors before leaving Kabarak. But as Sam Ogina now reports, there seems to be more than meets the eye.
Kabarak, retired President Daniel Moi's residence that has lately become a political powerhouse, quite literally. Politicians trooping here for counsel from the professor of politics as the 2022 succession race shapes up. The latest visit coming from Deputy President William Ruto. In a carefully worded statement, the retired president's office confirmed the presence of DP Ruto, accompanied by Energy Cabinet Secretary Charles Keter, Ainabukoi MP William Chepkut, and lawyer Stephen Kipkenda. However, the entourage did not meet the retired president as they had expected, Moi's office indicating that the visit coincided with the doctor's appointment. Moi has recently returned from a successful surgery in Israel, the former president currently recuperating at his Kabarak home. Sources within the DP's office, however, indicate that the meeting had been confirmed, forcing Ruto to reschedule his engagements. Ruto was initially expected to preside over the launch of the Rapid Results Initiative at the Kenya School of Government at 11 a.m. This was brought forward to 9 a.m. to accommodate the planned meeting with Mzee Moi. But after a 2-hour wait and lunch, with hopes fading to meet Mzee Moi, Ruto and his team left Kabarak with a promise to set up another meeting at a convenient date.
Kuna walaghai ambao wameenda wakadanganya jana naibu rais, wakamweleza kwamba mzee amepatia appointment pale Kabarak na mzee hajui. Sasa they have embarrassed the whole deputy president.
According to the DP's communications director, David Mugonyi, the visit to Kabarak was a private visit, and if it were a public event, it will have been communicated to the media. Ruto's visit comes only weeks after former Prime Minister Raila Odinga paid Moi a visit. Odinga and Moi teams noting that their discussions revolved around Kenya's unity. Stung by the aborted meeting, the DP handlers are blaming their predicaments to the power struggle between Ruto and Baringo Senator Gideon Moi.
Na watu wasifunge salamu. Nikisema leo nataka kwenda kusalimia nani, fungueni milango. Sisi tunataka kusalimiana.
Ruto and Gideon Moi are locked in maneuvers and shadow boxing over the 2022 succession contest. The former president still perceived as a critical figure in shaping the contest and control of the vote-rich Rift Valley region.
Puzzling. What are your thoughts on what happened yesterday in Kabarak? 22422 is our SMS line. And use the hashtag CitizenExtra on social media. I'll be reading some of your thoughts in the course of this broadcast. But let me get an immediate reaction from my guests here in studio. I'm sure each of them have their own thoughts on what happened yesterday. Haman Manyora, let me start with you.
You know, some of these things, you don't know whether to believe them. Initially, I thought all this was fake news. There's so much that is of the circus nature. But assuming really the deputy president went to see the retired president, or President Moi, and he was not able to see him, if it was an appointment, because definitely it has to be an appointment, President Moi is not Manyora or Dasan Omari. There must be serious protocol, surely. If there was, assuming there was an appointment and he was not able to see him, one could imagine there could be reasons for that. For example, this is an old man. We are all forgetting he has just come from treatment abroad in Israel. Maybe he wasn't feeling well. You could imagine you'd be in a better shape, but when the person comes, then the doctors would advise you are not in a shape to engage.
But would this information not have been given prior to allow the deputy president to reschedule?
I'm saying he thinks he can see you, or he's sure he will see you. But when you come, you know the way the body behaves when you are unwell. Sometimes you could think you'll be strong enough to go. Somebody can come and see you when you are unwell, and you are unable even to reach the sitting room. And he's informed this guy can't see you. It's normal. Why are we reading so much sometimes? But again, if it is true, because I'm saying there are so many stories, we don't know which to believe. You have seen Kamket saying there was no appointment. If again there was no appointment.
He's even called it a trespass.
Yeah. Look, if indeed there was no appointment, then you can see how serious this gets. How can a deputy president engage in that manner, except to try and get political capital out of it? I think if it is true he went without some serious arrangement, then Ruto could be playing a game so that he comes out as the victim, you know, so that he can get sympathy votes from Kenyans. But I think coming from the deputy president, from a man who aspires to be president, again, I don't want to believe that's the case. So there must be something in between these two and a lot more we have had that we don't know.
That we don't know.
Yeah.
Dunstan, what do you know?
William Ruto, the deputy president, missed the handshake. Let me have yours. Am I missing it? When I look at this scenario, Waiga, I have repeated severally with you here and with everybody that William Ruto is a serious political animal. I do not believe there was any appointment arranged in advance.
You actually think he just boarded a plane?
I don't believe there was any appointment. Consistently from 2013, you cannot show any photo where William Ruto and Mzee Moi are taken together. From 2013 to date, you cannot show any clip where the deputy president has gone to Kabarak and be entertained. President Moi has...
You're sure they have not gone with Uhuru?
I mean,
in the past?
if he goes with Uhuru, is courtesy of the president.
Oh.
That rapport.
Even that has not happened.
And you cannot show. I'm telling you, even that one. Every time President Moi and William Ruto have never been together. The last time they were very close is when the retired president got an accident in Limuru, and it came out to pass that the vehicle that the retired president was driving was registered in the name of William Ruto. So William Ruto all through has been depicted as a person fighting retired President Moi. Moi has kept a cold shoulder on William Ruto because Moi has his son who he prefers to hand over the baton to take over from him. So what I'm thinking, the handlers of the deputy president wanted to smoke out Gideon Moi to the public limelight. Why did this thing go the way it did? One, the retired president met Raila Odinga.
And those are some of the...
In a very cordial relationship. The retired president has been sick. People are asking, is the deputy president so ruthless and so brutal, so heartless, that he cannot go to visit?
Is he welcome?
The question of welcome has been the question. Either he has been denied that welcome, and the people are not aware that several attempts either have been done for him to go and they have been objected. How does he bring this message to the nation that don't think I'm heartless? It is I've always tried and I've always been chased. So what happened yesterday? I think he wanted to bring out, one, the question of humility as sitting deputy president waiting patiently for 2 hours.
2 hours in which you could have spent launching a project elsewhere or overseeing.
That politically, he's trying to say, I am a humble person. Number two, the deputy president the other day has been branding himself as a hustler. You saw him the other day selling chicken. So the battle the deputy president is putting is a hustler versus dynasties. And hustlers are such a patient lot that they can still be frustrated but still patiently wait. The third issue is the heartless. He wants to bring out an image that, look, Gideon Moi, who is likely to be the next commander-in-chief.
Like, in your view?
According to them.
Okay.
They are the two front runners for 2022 in the absence of Raila Odinga. Is this a person who Kenyans you can vote for, who can stop me from seeing a patient? Funerals and hospitals, anybody is welcome. There was no security risk. The deputy president cannot be a risk factor to the retired president. Neither will the retired president be a risk factor. So that is why security and protocols were removed. So in my own view, I think William Ruto has succeeded to bring out the question people want now to discuss about Gideon Moi. Because Gideon Moi always has been hiding behind his father. So now the discussions has also moved from what happened in Parliament. Remember, the president gave a very serious speech.
And did not mention the Deputy President. Danster, let me interrupt you there because there's a man on the line who's actually laughing. I'm told he's laughing as you speak. Let me bring in Tiati Member of Parliament William Kamket live from Nakuru County. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What the gentleman is saying there is actually quite laughable.
Let me get your thoughts. You've been very outright about this matter, very open about it. We saw the clip where you spoke yesterday at a rally, and you went on to say that the DP was lied to concerning the appointment. You say some of his handlers should resign. What do you know that Kenyans don't know? Because everyone is asking questions, but you seem very certain that you have the exact details what actually happened yesterday.
Well, I do not know much more than what everybody else has seen or has heard from the media. I was not in Kabarak myself. I was in my constituency, and then I heard that His Excellency, the Deputy President, had sneaked into Kabarak incognito. And I thought that was a serious breach of protocol, because a person of the stature of the Deputy President going to see a retired president is a very serious matter. It is not just, the two gentlemen are not ordinary Kenyans. They are people at that level. So I thought, therefore, that it was a bit cheeky on the part of the Deputy President to sneak in and announce and try now to make political capital out of it. It is really insincere, in my opinion.
What do you mean by political capital? Because if you just take a look at social media, it seems that a lot of people are not really laughing at what happened yesterday, but it's become a humorous discussion online. Is that really building political capital?
Yes, because you know the narrative, the narrative that he wants to sell, and him and his team, the narrative that they want to sell is that his competitor for 2022 is the one blocking him from seeing his father, which is really not true, because Gideon Moi is not a gate man at Kabarak. There are people who are employed by the state. There is John Lokorio, there is Lin Jiru and others, and there is even an ADC. So really, to try and use a very that narrative, that false narrative that Senator Gideon Moi is blocking him is really insincere and dishonest on the part of the Deputy President and his handlers. And this thing started last week, 2 weeks ago at Kapkatet, when we during the homecoming for Member of Parliament for Bureti, when Senator Murkomen mentioned that the Deputy President was being blocked from seeing the President, retired President. So indeed, it is actually, there is malice aforethought in this matter.
So in your view,
there is
in your view, then has it worked? If you say that's the strategy to build political capital,
it cannot work. It cannot work. Because there is malice from the beginning. It cannot work. If you want, you see, the mens rea of the individual must even in criminal law, you must understand the intention. The intention, in my opinion, was not to see the retired president. The intention was to go there and pass the narrative that have been blocked. That is the intention. But I'm saying then, if that was the intention, because I do not believe it will not work, because I do not believe that the Deputy President is so gullible, as in to believe that somebody like William Chepkut, or Charles Keter was going to book an appointment for him with the retired president. That is not the right protocol.
Mheshimiwa, finally,
I do not think.
Yes.
I do not think the Deputy President intended to see the retired president. He wanted to pass this false narrative that him and his team are trying to pass, that the Senator Gideon Moi is trying to block the retired. Yes. We all know that the Deputy President is a product of President Moi, right? President Moi built him from nothing up to where he is now. Now, when he chose to rebel,
yes,
he chose to rebel, and he rebelled, and he rose.
Honorable Kamket,
he rose through the ranks.
Honorable
in
Kamket,
spite of
his followers might not fully agree with. I think it's important just to say that that is your view on the journey of the Deputy President. I think it's fair to say that. As we wrap up this discussion, I want to hear from you. What does this then mean moving forward? Because what happened yesterday obviously shows or will indicate a change in how the Deputy President and the son of the former president will interact moving forward. What do you see in the future?
There is no question about a change or anything. You know, moving forward, it is crystal clear that to Kenyans that who among the two had ill intentions, right? Because I do not believe that the office of the Deputy President made a genuine effort in trying to see the retired president. I do not think that was the intention. The intention was to try and pass the false narrative that Gideon Moi is the one blocking. Yet Gideon Moi is not a gate man at Kabarak. Two, yes. Moving forward is very clear. Moving forward is very clear. 2022 is going to be there is going to be a contest for political power between the Senator for Baringo and the Deputy President, and maybe other Kenyans. So, but that contest is going to be about ideas. It's not going to be about who blocked who and who did not block who. That's not. We are preparing for a very serious contest on ideas and issues that we want to serve this country about.
Fair enough. Honorable Kamket, stay on the line because I think this is a discussion you want to continue contributing to. And from Nakuru County, I want to take us now to Uasin Gishu County, where the Senator of Nandi County, Samson Cherargei, is also on the line. I also want to get his thoughts on what happened yesterday in Kabarak. Was the Deputy President invited to Kabarak? Was the team there ready for him? What exactly happened, Honorable Cherargei?
Good morning, Waiga, and thanks for having me today morning. I think there is nothing that much happened, but we saw the statement that former President's press secretary issued and said that at that time former President was having a doctor's appointment. And therefore, I think what we saw yesterday, it will be very tragic if the Baringo senator was the one who orchestrated the non-appointment between the former president and our deputy president. And therefore, you know, in our culture, especially where I share, of course, the same values with the deputy president, is that when somebody is sick, it doesn't need an appointment, or it is always courteous to always pay a courtesy call to such people who are sick in our society. But I think the former president is in sound mind, and he was aware that the deputy president was coming to see him. And I don't think, unless there are some people who want to lie to us, that he's not in good mental health. And therefore, it is very tragic if the Baringo senator orchestrated that non-meeting with the former president. And we take it because, Waiga, it has been, there has been allegation that has been peddled around that the deputy president would not want to see the former president. But on our part, we have been aware, and in fact the leader of majority at some point did make a statement, I think in Moiben, in Uasin Gishu County, sometimes back, almost 3 weeks, that us as Rift Valley leaders, it has been hard to access and see the former president. And therefore, we don't know the reason why, as to why there could be that non-accessibility, and yet he's our leader, he's the former president. And the deputy president is not just William Ruto, he's also the deputy president of this Republic of Kenya. And therefore, we don't know why they orchestrated all these. And you can see, I can hear my friend is online, Honorable Kamket. He rushed yesterday to a function and tried to dispel some of the issues by saying that there was a trespass, the appointment was not followed, the protocol followed. But you know, in our culture, you don't need an protocol issues to see a sick person, and therefore you can see it was a setup by Honorable Kamket and KANU operatives to come and go to a function yesterday coincidentally and ensure they said what he said in that function. And from that function, you can see people are not happy. If you can see that video that was being trending online. And I think those are some of the things that brings more questions than answers.
Senator, let me ask you this. The Deputy President, and I'm sure you're privy to part of his strategy as he looks towards 2022, he seemed to be playing catch-up for the last couple of months. It's when President Uhuru does something, he goes onto Twitter and says, I'm also doing the same thing, whether it's the handshake, whether it's forgiveness. When former Prime Minister Raila Odinga goes to see Moi, we suddenly see the Deputy President also playing catch-up as well. Is it a good political strategy to be playing catch-up with other leaders? It doesn't quite make sense.
No. I don't think Deputy President William Ruto is playing catch-up. He's not playing catch-up at all. You must realize that he's the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and is the Deputy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. He is the principal assistant. So even if, for example, on the forgiveness issue, he was following what his boss or what the boss had done, it is not about catch-up, because these are instant. It is coincidence that when he wants to see the former president, it is coincidence that others had done so before. So I think all this issue, it is not about catch-up, it is not about strategy of 2022. I think the deputy president is discharging his duties as the principal assistant of the president, and any decision that the president makes binds also the deputy. On the issue of handshake, some of us have taken a different view altogether about the handshake, because I can tell you, Waiga, the way this handshake is going, is we are aware that now Raila Odinga has gone a notch higher by demanding even some of the positions in the government, including the cabinet secretaries, and that is why some of us have been jittery, because we know he is trying to destroy the strategy of
where do you get this,
the deputy president
where
for
is this
2022.
information from?
So,
that's information that's not publicly available. You have seen some of his demands. Have you seen a list?
You can. I'm just predicting to you that the document that is being worked on, which some of us are privy to, is that has some connotations. If you have been seeing the body language of the former prime minister and the handshake, the angle is taking. It is not taking the handshake of peace, unity, and development. It is taking to some level of, you can hear the discussion of referendum. You have heard now about the regional, the three-tier government. You have heard about the change of executive governance. That change of executive governance, in instances, want to amend the constitution to create more opportunities. What does that mean? It means we are going headed to a Nusumkate government.
Fair enough. Senator Cherargei, hold on the line. Honorable Kamket, hold on as well. Let me get a brief comment from my guests here in studio and get some final comments from you as well. Herman Manyora and Danstan Omari are in studio with me. Herman, let me get your reaction to what our two leaders have said.
When you gave me the chance to start, I told you there is a lot that doesn't make sense. There's a lot that is unsaid. There's so much we don't understand. Beginning with Danstan Omari, it is not possible that the deputy president can have a problem booking an appointment so that he has to do it through drama. It's not possible. Remember, from the Constitution of 2010 has removed the vice president. We have nothing like, what we have is the presidency. There's no office of the
two-person package.
Yeah,
called
it's the presidency. And therefore, that is the highest office in the land. There is nowhere they can seek an appointment officially and complete with a press secretary. The press, press something, a unit. So my former student Alam would be the one to do that and make it public that the deputy president has booked an appointment to see President Moi. Now, whatever follows after that, he is also bound to inform the country. So there's not saying you have to sneak in. That again is not true. Secondly, Kamket, my friend, and you cannot sneak to Kabarak. Kabarak is not Luombe where Manyora comes from. Kabarak, for heaven's sake, is where President Moi sits. You can't sneak in. Look here, and you are using air. You don't just fly. There are rights you need. There's clearance from where you are going to land. So it's not a, so that's why I'm saying there's a lot we don't know. Okay? But with the time we shall know.
With time we shall know.
Except I want to repeat. If it was the intention of the deputy president to get sympathy out of this, he's playing it wrong. If he's trying the catch-up game like you are saying, again, he's getting it wrong. I have advised repeatedly, if I were the deputy president, what you need to do is sit back and watch. Take time to understand the game. What is this handshake about? Take time to understand. And that's how he started. He was markedly different from Davadi, Kalonzo, and Wetangula, who overreacted immediately. He
kept quiet.
He kept quiet, supported the deal, but subsequent events have shown that he's also panicking.
In fact, I was about to ask you, is he panicking?
He's panicking. He should stop that. Play cool. Kenyans are watching. when our tourist spoke in Uhuru Park, Kenya stood up and said, what is this guy saying? What? That we create a position for Uhuru in 2022? You know,
and he
so
put it in terms
he will gain from that such a false moves from the other side if he kept quiet and watched.
Dunstan?
My take is a bit different. As I've said, William is a contender. President retired Moi, Uhuru Kenyatta are not in the ballot at all. William has identified the person they are likely to compete with. This person is hiding behind his father. So he has brought him to the fore so that there is an open contest now between Gideon and the DP. Number two, when you look at the DP's handlers, the late Matiba, the hero, just was buried the other day.
That's right.
There was unanimity that Matiba became a hero by virtue of bringing multi-party democracy, courtesy of the mistreatment or the detention that was executed by the retired President Moi, who is the father of Gideon Moi. But Gideon Moi, the son of the one who detained Matiba, was allowed to go and see and condole with the family of the Matibas. He was not objected. When Gideon goes to see his father, he's objected. That
with the former president on Wednesday, and he was aware with part of the team. In fact, by the time the plane landed in Kabarak, the Mzee Moi was basking in the sun. So when by the time the plane landed, he was being wheeled into the house. He almost fell. And number two, the Baringo senator was making frantic calls. Even he threatened the protocol and also the security or aides of Mzee, so that he could not. He was threatening them that if they allow Deputy President to access Gideon Moi, they would very dire consequences. And then the big question, I want media Senator, to do this.
Can you confirm? You know
why
you can't make unsubstantiated claims like those without on air, without giving us proof that he actually did that he actually
I'm giving you, you were asking me what happened with the deputy's team, and he had said there was a village mentality that we can just walk to the former presidents, and I'm now clearing, because he had said we had not booked an appointment, the deputy president had not booked an appointment. So I'm giving you the side of my side of the story, because he had insisted that we had used a village mentality by walking into the yet we had not booked the appointment to the former president. And what I'm saying is that there was threats to the security and the aides of the former president not to allow the deputy president to meet the former president and find out how he was doing. In fact, it was not political. It is a private matter. And that is why the big question, Waiga, should be answering, and even for the public consumption, is why were the phones of Mzee Moi unhooked, most of them, so that he could not be accessed?
Honorable Kamket,
and therefore, the issue that there was one appointment is very unfortunate.
Fair enough. Let me give Honorable Kamket 1 minute to respond. We need to wrap up this discussion.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say that the senator is making sweeping statements. He was not in Kabarak. I was not in Kabarak. What he's saying, that the things he's saying are completely out of the way and completely false. It is not right for an honorable man to begin fanning out lies that do not add up anything. You see, they are trying to cover up the embarrassment they caused themselves. Because, you know, when you have bad intentions, even God himself will not allow you to succeed. Because the intention was not to see the retired president.
Okay.
The Kenyans must get this right from the beginning. The intention was not to see the retired president. The intention was to try and say they have been blocked. And then try to get political sympathy against Gideon Moi.
Okay.
Which will not work. It will not sell. It's a hard sell. Let them sell their policies. Let them tell us what they'll do for this country. Let them tell us what they'll do to the farmers of Wasingishu who are crying now, instead of going to sell chicken on the road.
Okay.
It's
Honorable
a challenging nation does not deal in chicken.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Senator, literally 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I want to say to Kenyans that the meeting of the deputy president and former president was planned, but it was disrupted, or it was made impossible by, of course, people known, and it is very tragic if it is his son who made sure that the deputy president. But I can assure you the deputy president is continuing with this of being principal assistant to the president, discharging mandate. And for the clarity, for the doubting Thomas and for clarity purposes, we have only Ndume Moja in Rift Valley, and that is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. So the people of Kano and the likes of Kamket should put their house in order instead of blaming everybody, everything that we have. And therefore, let us, and finally, Waiga, visiting a sick person is a private affair. It is culturally acceptable, and therefore we'll be looking at Kamket and even some of the elders to come and request for forgiveness, because it is unethical or uncultured to deny somebody who is sick to be seen by the people.
I think that's how we're going to wrap up this discussion. Honorable William Kamket, TRT Member of Parliament, and of course Senator Samson Cherargei of Nandi County, thank you for finding time to be here with us from your respective locations. Let me get reactions from my guests here in studio as well. Herman Manyora, it's getting out of hand, isn't it?
I just said you can't understand. This is an animal now, an octopus. You can't arrest it. You see, mine is just advice. You see, culture or no culture, seeing a sick person has some element of protocol, even in the village. You get it? Somebody can be in a state at that particular time that you can't see him. So it's possible. And all these things they are saying are possible. Mine is simple advice to the team of Deputy President William Ruto. Do not act in panic. Sit back, relax, and watch the game. Let the mistakes come from the other side, like they are truly Miss Blunder. There will be many. Just keep quiet. Sit and watch them. But the way they are now moving, thinking they are countering the move from the other side, they will lose, because a combination of Uhuru and Raila is a giant you can't face physically. You need to do so in a shrewd manner.
Will we as
More
Kenyans,
of a fox.
Will we as Kenyans ever get to know what really happened yesterday? Because in the back and forth that I'm now seeing, which I'm sure now will be replicated in rallies across the country this weekend, the truth might get lost. Will we know the facts?
It will be very difficult to know the truth. You see, when you are talking about the person of President Moi, somebody of that caliber, and somebody like the deputy president, it is not easy to penetrate those offices and get the truth. Innuendo, rumors, speculations, conspiracy theories, all those we shall have, and then the social media will have a field day.
I think we, the media, have a tough task. We need to find out what really happened and clarify, because what I've just had can be very confusing. Back and forth. Dunstan, come in.
We are in a scenario of 2002, where there were two tribesmen from Central Province, Uhuru Kenyatta and Uhuru Kenyatta and retired President Mwai Kibaki, battling for the race.
Uhuru or Matiba?
It was Uhuru. 202. 202 was Matiba and Kibaki.
Yes.
No, 202.
Yes, 202.
Not 202, 1992.
Yes.
The same was replicated in 202, where Uhuru Kenyatta and Mwai Kibaki battled it out.
That's right.
In 2022, there's a likelihood it will also now be between Gideon Moi and William Ruto. Where do the Kenyans go? Where do the other tribesmen go? My fellow brothers and sisters in the country, look at the suckers in the rift. What is being fought about? Is it our resources? Wahiga. Is it our resources that these two families are fighting about? So the question is, what is there for a Kenyan in this drama that we are seeing? In fact, the Kenyans are nowhere.
That's how we need to wrap up this discussion, because in all this, we haven't talked about corruption, which is something the president mentioned in his speech. There's no big four. It's all getting lost in this narrative.
In a master stroke, this president's speech at Parliament has been watered down. In a master stroke, the agenda 4, the big 4, have been taken to in the next rallies for the next 1 month. This is the discussion that we are going to continue dealing with. So in my own view is that we are a country that we should have ignored even this thing. Look at where the source of this information comes from. It is from the retired president's press team. The deputy president kept quiet about it. Now it has become a national discussion. Everybody is talking about how this thing is. So in my own view, I think the agenda we are missing is how to make the handshake translate it more prosperity, economic prosperity, peaceful prosperity, and our children and our families make better living. Remember 2013, 2017, the country was at standstill. And now we are entering into another standstill of people who have gone and they have been denied access to visit, to greet anybody. Wahiga, Manyora wants to come to my place over the weekend. What is the issue about it? So in my own view, I think that whatever is happening, I differ with the prof very well, that William Ruto waits. 11 former vice presidents waited from Jaramogi Oginga Odinga.
And you saw what happened to them.
And none of them succeeded. William Ruto, it is only one who succeeded courtesy of a natural calamity called death.
That's right.
So William Ruto is aware that any time you sit and wait, you'll be told what Saitoti was told at Kasarani. Oh, professor, not this professor. Urafiki ni tofauti na uongozi. He was not in the list. So William Ruto has clearly identified the targets for him to demolish before that time of 2022. And he has only this year and next year to make it impossible for anybody to be a candidate against him. And that is why you see William is trying to move very fast. I'm not holding forth for William, but I'm looking at a politician who is alive to the reality that people must fight to get power. People are never given power.
You don't punch,
gentlemen,
beyond your
almost
weight.
forgotten about this. I'm coming to you to get short closing comments. About a year or so ago, the Deputy President spoke at a rally, and we also know that Senator Moi also spoke at a rally. And that time, one began to get a sense of what was going to happen in the race to 2022. We traced some of that footage, and here it is for you.
Vizuri. 2013, wakati sisi tunapanga kuunda serikali, Uhuru na Kenyatta na mimi tulipanga tukaunda Jubilee kwenda kutafuta serikali. Wale wengine wa kitendawili wakapanga, tukashindana na wao. Watu wa KANU hapa wakapanga, hawakujua hata wanaenda wapi. Mwisho hawakupata serikali, hawakupata upinzani. Sasa hawajijui hata wako wapi. Ndio unaona wanamangamanga hapa, hawaelewi wako pande hii, wako pande ile, wanahangaika hapa katikati na fitina ya bure. Kwa hivyo seneta wenu ajipange. Ajipange vizuri. Sione ya kwamba atiko hapa watajaza karata hiyo ya guesswork. Kutuambia sijui nini. They have no plan.
Akan machomo kita guys. Matobo atkuleo 2022 migi taken moyo wa Swahili kutangulia sioku onai no tagamoge.
All right, Bwana Manyora, as your closing comment, as you briefly comment on that, where does this leave President Uhuru Kenyatta and his agenda, and where is Raila in the midst of all this? Let me get that as your final comment.
Quickly first, in terms of Ruto fighting back, if he punches at Raila and Uhuru, he's boxing above his weight. He's hitting a rock. If he tries to punch Gideon Moi, he's punching in the shadows. Gideon Moi is not anywhere now. You are punching in the air, in the shadows. Either way, you are wasting your time. For Uhuru Kenyatta, he's in a difficult position. The only reason why it will not be difficult for him, he's not you and he's not Manyora. An ordinary person will have a problem looking at somebody who has helped you the way Ruto has helped Kenyatta and tell him, I'm not with you anymore. But for politicians, that is game. It's rubbish. They can do it anytime. They can. In fact, somebody said the reason Moi was able to withstand the tough times of 1990-91, or Pepo Mukali as he called it, somebody wrote in some paper in the UK, he said, the one quality that Moi has is to be able to be with you, to benefit from you, and when the time comes, he discards you, throws you under the bus without feeling anything. Those are politicians. So to answer your question, because Uhuru Kenyatta is a politician, He may feel nothing about even looking at Ruto in the eyes and telling him the way the things are going in this country is no longer tenable for you to succeed me. Because he's a politician. If it was you and I, to answer your question, you can understand it will be very difficult. Because without Ruto, Uhuru would not have become president at all. But he's a politician. For Raila, he's enjoying every bit of the game.
Danstan, brief comment. Final one, please.
My final comment is that William Ruto has clearly narrowed his game to make no alternative available to be given the ticket of the handshake. He has said, I must cut all that has a possibility of being the beneficiary of that. And the first is to cut that from his stronghold, Rift Valley. He cannot go to the battle with whoever will be in the ballot of 2022 when his backyard is divided. I've given you the narrative that once William Ruto took over the control of Rift Valley, you saw the passion and the struggle and the tenacity of regaining the Kericho senatorial seat when it was Gideon Moi versus William Ruto, the battle between Sang and the senator of Kericho. William is a threatened person. Achebe says when you see a toad jumping on broad daylight, it has a history and it has known that its life is in danger. William's life, political life, is in danger, and he has identified who his targets are. So in my own view, I think that he has no capacity at all to challenge the president, and he knows it. He has no capacity at all to now even comment anything negative about Raila Odinga, but he will allow the two people who have had a handshake have no opportunity to hand that handshake to Professor Manyora. So if Manyora is the beneficiary, Manyora will be made a person not fit to be handed over that baton. So that is what William Ruto is doing. That let him consolidate Rift Valley, let him consolidate all over. By the time it comes to 2019, he will deal with the consequences. And is a very, very great strategy. The handlers have achieved.
Fair enough. Let me bring in, and gentlemen, thank you so much for finding time to be here with me today. Let me get a final comment now from the Speaker of Nairobi County, Beatrice Elachi. Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for finding time to be here with us on phone. Nevertheless, let me get your thoughts. I'm sure you've had a chance to listen to what some of my guests, both here in studio and in different locations, have had to say.
Thank you very much. And I know I've listened to my great counsel, I've listened to my professor, but my take is very different, Wahiga, because for me, first of all, I have to respect the former president being our leader of the country and also an elder of this country. At the age he is in now, surely we cannot be speculating so many things, knowing very well he can wake up in the morning, but at one point he might feel he needs to rest and goes to rest. So sometimes we are speculating, we are talking so much about it, and we are not asking ourselves, who are we talking about? Are we talking about a young person? Are we talking about a person? We are talking about the former president who just came in recently from Israel, who I believe in the afternoon should be resting. And therefore, for me, the handlers of the deputy president on all these issues, I think, outplays them. Number two, when you realize how even former prime minister went to meet Moi, I mean, surely you realize we did not even see it in media. People saw the photos. So I don't know why this one started with media and now it's all over, and now we are now taking it a different angle. I think even my former president might be wondering, what is this we are talking about? So the thing that the deputy president should do is, one, for me, the issue of this presidency of 2022 is something that also God plans in all his ways. And if I was him, I will let God's plan work the way it's supposed to work. And I will leave these things and receive and ask his guards. His guards are handling the whole process. It's as if it's a do or die. It's not a do or die. I mean, surely do or die, dear President? No. So he's trying to, his handlers are trying to tell us it's a do or die or what happens then to the country. So he has been a sober leader. He is one of those leaders we have expected. The Deputy President has managed every crisis. I want him to sit down with his team and rethink and manage, because we cannot have a fight in Rift Valley between Deputy President and Senator Gideon Moi. I mean, it is not making us anything good for themselves. It is going to split them more. We are not going to have a battle of the North Rift and the Baringos. What is all that? I mean, and yes, we have no idea what God has planned for each of them going forward. So for me, we have had a handshake. That handshake is what's working magic in other ways. Let us not now bring something else from Rift Valley to brew and spoil everything. Because, you know, we are talking, but don't forget, in Rift Valley, we have our Deputy President for the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, if this handshake has to work, they will need the support of the Deputy President. If the handlers decide that handshake cannot work, by the way, it won't work. They will be the ones to mess. They're in Parliament. They will be the ones to sabotage every move that moves. So why can't we first ask ourselves, how do we support His Excellency the President, who has not said, I will not support my brother when it comes to 2022. You see, those are the many things now we are it's as if the fight is just between Gideon and that is one tribe. They cannot make any president, both of them. They need us.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I think your point has come out quite clearly, and your thoughts are very sobering at a time when some of the speakers that we have had today got a bit emotional about the issue of what actually happened yesterday. Thank you so much to the Speaker of Nairobi County, Honorable Beatrice Elachi. To my guests here in studio, Danstan Omari and Herman Manyora, thank you so much as well for finding time to be here with us. And to everyone who watched this broadcast,